Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in and checking out my latest video. So today's video is going to be talking about the upcoming matchup between Vasyl Lomachenko versus Teofimo Lopez. So this is a fight, guys, between two very different type of fighters. We got Teofimo Lopez, who's a young, brash fighter. He thinks he's going to absolutely destroy Lomachenko. Him and his father have been talking about how it's going to be easy work. They're going to expose Lomachenko. They've been talking like crazy, nonstop. And then we got Lomachenko on the other hand, who's very stoic champion. He kind of does his talking in the ring. That's the style he likes to go about his business. So very interesting kind of dynamic between these two. There's been some trash talk. Both of these guys don't like each other, which even adds a better element to already a very exciting styles matchup here in this encounter. So with no further ado, guys, let's get into this fight. So my first look at Teofimo Lopez, very young kid in his early 20s. He's a fighter that when you look at him, fights with a wide stance, which means he likes to generate a lot of power and cover some distance. Now, when you look at Teofimo Lopez and some of the skills he presents, he's a fighter that actually likes to implement the Philly shell at times defensively, and he also likes to counter people using the catch and shoot technique. So what that means is your opponent throws something at you, and you're going to catch that shot and then land a counter back. Very good style for him. Ultimately, in some of his other matchups, we have seen him in so far in his career. And what makes him a special fighter, in my opinion, is Teofimo Lopez has power in both of his hands. He's a fighter that is very athletically gifted, very good reflexes. He's got good hand speed as well. And he's a fighter who consistently goes to the body. And also, he has very good counter shots to the body and very good timing as well. So, he's very, very patient at such a young age, but you can see him, his ability to set up and time shots are excellent. When you look at the shot that he landed against Richard Comey, he set that up. He dipped it low to the body, thinking that Comey thought he was going to go low with a body shot, ends up coming up with the right hand and absolutely flooring Richard Comey, and that was basically the end of the night for Comey after that shot. Now, Teofimo Lopez, when you look at him, like I said, so his left hook is a very good weapon for him. His right hand is vicious. He has excellent uppercuts as well. He's a guy who has a quick jab as well at times. Sometimes a lazy jab though. But ultimately, this guy just has a ton of weapons. He is a fighter as well when you look at him. He's not a big combination puncher. He likes to kind of throw one or two shots. Like I said, he's patient when you look at Teofimo Lopez. So moving on to Vasyl Lomachenko, what he brings to the table in this fight. Lomachenko has these beautiful angles. He has outstanding footwork, very good head movement, side-to-side footwork as well, and side-to-side movement. He's a fighter that has totally a different variety of body shots. You'll see him throw jabs to the body, straights to the body. He'll throw hooks to the body. Just all kinds of interesting dynamics that he uses to the body. He's also a fighter who has an excellent jab. He's a combination fighter, so you'll see him land 4, 5, 6 shots at a time. Very aggressive. He'll stand in front of his opponents, but also utilizing his footwork and movement and getting out of shots. Very good defense. He's a fighter that just has so many great things. He can fight off his back foot, or he can be the aggressor. This guy just does everything. He has very good punching accuracy. His feints are very good. Excellent stamina as well. So Lomachenko just brings everything to the table when you look at him as a fighter. Outstanding timing as well. You don't become 396-1 as an amateur, right? Unless you have all these skills. So that's what we're looking at when we're looking at Vasyl Lomachenko. So some keys of the fight for both of these fighters in this matchup, in my opinion. So let's first start off with Teofimo Lopez and some keys that I have in this matchup. At times when we see Lomachenko have a bit of trouble, it's when his opponents are pushing him backwards. So that's something I think that Teofimo Lopez really needs to try to implement in this fight. Use that size advantage. He's got a big reach advantage. He's physically the stronger fighter. So use that reach, push Vasyl Lomachenko back. Also, I think that Lopez can't load up with headshots. I think he's got to be very, I would say, very poised and land to the body, because Lomachenko's body is going to be easier to hit than landing headshots consistently all night. Gain confidence early, because you are going in there with such an experienced veteran, and really kind of set the tempo saying that we're coming out here, we're going to make a statement like you've talked about pre-fight. So I think those are some really big keys for Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion. And I also believe, guys, that in this matchup, he's going to have to be more active than he was. Like I said, he's got all the physical advantages in this fight. He's got to let his hands go more, though, against Lomachenko, in my opinion, and use that superior power. So when I look at Vasyl Lomachenko and some keys for him in this fight, in my opinion, I think that Lomachenko, early in this fight, needs to land his combinations and move out. I also believe that Lomachenko, in this matchup, that he needs to also attack that Philly shell. And the reason why this is a very important thing in this fight is because Teofimo Lopez likes to implement that defensively. The way that Lomachenko fights, he can land multiple shots, and even if they're not fully landing, the judges score some of those shots, right? So this is the thing, is where Lomachenko is being active and he attacks that Philly shell, it's going to frustrate Teofimo Lopez because he's used to throwing counters off that Philly shell and doing the catch and shoot. The problem is with the way Lomachenko fights, and he's constantly moving, he's stepping back, he'll move to the right, whatever. That kind of stuff does not work against a guy like Lomachenko. And the thing is, Teofimo Lopez hasn't fought anybody remotely close to the kind of skill set that Lomachenko has in terms of his movement, counter punching, and things like that. So I think that's going to be something that Lomachenko is going to attack early, and he'll have some success landing the body, I believe. And also another big key in this fight for me is a jab. So when you look at Teofimo Lopez in the past, Richard Comey, for example, landed a lot of jabs against him. The Japanese fighter, I forget his name, he was quite tall. He had a lot of success with his jab as well. And it's interesting because when you hear Teofimo Lopez Sr. talk, he says, they don't care about the pity-patter shots that Lomachenko is going to be throwing. The thing is, a lot of those shots, though, blind your opponent, and that's where you land the combinations, and that's where you're able to get out of shots and you frustrate your opponent. So that's another key for Teofimo Lopez, is he's got to be very patient in this fight, and he just can't get annoyed by all the constant movement and the style that Lomachenko uses. You see so many guys get frustrated. Lopez cannot let that happen to him in this fight. So yeah, that's just a key for Lomachenko, guys. Consistently with that job, blinding his opponent, Teofimo Lopez, working off that with combinations. He's got to be careful, though, because where he's at a reach disadvantage, he's got to be careful on how you utilize the jab, because that will set you up for counters as well if you're too far out of range. The thing is, that's very interesting about that is he had success against Luke Campbell and Pedraza as well, and Linares with his jab. Vasyl Lomachenko did. So those are all bigger fighters than him. Quite a bit bigger, too, in some cases. Like a guy like Luke Campbell's massive compared to him. And he had success with that jab. So that's something just to note, I think, in my opinion, on this fight, guys, for some keys for both of these fighters. And then, last but not least, for Lomachenko, on the keys to victory for him, I think he needs to open up the pressure around the 6th or 7th round and start trying to mentally exhaust Teofimo Lopez, because he hasn't had a guy who's going to be consistently in front of him applying that constant pressure, that even if it's not throwing, you're mentally fatiguing a guy with those feints and that movement, things like that, and trying to read what he's going to do next. So that's why it's important for Lopez to be more active in this fight and land some of those big shots that we're accustomed to seeing him in previous encounters have success with. So ultimately, guys, my advantages for both of these fighters in this matchup. So advantages, if we're looking at Teofimo Lopez, he's a bigger puncher of the two fighters. He also has a size advantage. He's physically stronger, has more reach. And I would say those are some of the, and he's young, he's confident, he hasn't taken any damage. The young part, though, is not necessarily a big advantage in this fight because you got Lomachenko with experience. But Teofimo Lopez just has that, there's nothing physically that's happened to him. He hasn't had any cuts, headbutts, things like that to worry about in this kind of fight. So he's very fresh. So that's definitely something good for him in this matchup. Now, when we're looking at advantages for Vasyl Lomachenko in this fight, so Lomachenko for sure has the better footwork. He's got better defense as well, in my opinion. He's a vastly experienced fighter. Better combination puncher as well. And I would say he's more consistent to the body as well. And he varies his body attacks better than Teofimo Lopez does, in my opinion. So ultimately, guys, my prediction for this fight, going to be a very interesting fight because if Teofimo Lopez can push Lomachenko back, he's going to have a lot of success. And I think Teofimo Lopez will have some success in this fight. He's too talented of a fighter to not have success. And especially what's interesting is sometimes when Lomachenko is so heavy on that front foot that if he's ever off balance or overextends against a puncher like Teofimo Lopez who has that countering skills and such, that can be extremely dangerous. So I do definitely see Teofimo Lopez having some success in this fight. But ultimately, guys, in my opinion, I have to go with Lomachenko in this fight. I just think his constant movement, his combinations, his jab, all these things are going to really annoy Teofimo Lopez in this fight. And I just think that Lomachenko's style isn't very good for Lopez because Lopez just hasn't fought guys that are similar to Lomachenko's style at all. Whereas when you look at Lomachenko, for example, he has experience fighting Jorge Linares, good power, good speed, good ring IQ. Luke Campbell, the same. And Luke Campbell is massive. And Linares is big for that weight class too. So Lomachenko has experience fighting big guys. And I just think, in my opinion, there's just too many weapons that Lomachenko possesses in this fight. And I think that late in this matchup, I think Lomachenko, just with that constant pressure, you're really going to see him kind of take a turn in the second half of this fight and really put it on Teofimo Lopez late. And ultimately, that's where I think Lomachenko is really going to shine in this fight between rounds 8 to 12, just in my view. Because my prediction for this fight, guys, I think Lomachenko wins a unanimous decision in this matchup. However, you cannot count out Teofimo Lopez because, like I said, he can put your lights out with either shot. And ultimately, the thing about Lopez is, like I said, he's dangerous because he has that counter-punching skills. He does everything really well. And he genuinely, truly believes he's going to defeat Lomachenko. And that's the kind of mindset you need to take out a great champion like Lomachenko in this fight. This fight's going to be extremely interesting, guys. Let me know what you guys think on this fight. Going to be a hell of a matchup. But yeah, cannot wait to see the comments and see this fight, guys. So thank you for tuning in and checking out this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And hope you guys enjoy another great night of boxing. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thank you.